Okay, well, I guess I am. I didn't have anything to say. I just figured I'd pop on because I got my hair done and I probably did makeup. I take a picture for somebody else. It's weird. I feel like I shouldn't talk about her here. So there's probably something to that. Um, um, oh, God, just be. Don't want to sleep. I feel so exhausted that just go to bed, take the pills, go to bed. I still will probably eat those guys. But I don't have the wrung out, grainy, wide-eyed exhaustion where if you go too far, I don't know if you ever have, you stand up, you feel nauseous, and that's what I'm looking for. Oh, this is terrible. And she bailed on me like completely. I talked to somebody, one of my blog followers. She got me to jerk off and call her mommy the first phone call. I do mean it in that way. She got me to do it. It's not my bragging rights, it's hers. She said something about just as a non sequitur being 7 years old and lying in bed thinking about masturbating. You're 7 years old and closing the blinds while I'm doing that, right? And I get like feeling it. And she says, "Oh, go ahead. It's not, go ahead and say it. It's not like it's not bad." And so I work myself in the corner, mommy. Okay, such a fucking slut. I wish she had gone away. She gave me some weird reason. I'm worried about my neighbors scared her. It was crap. She was very strange, but A, kind, and B, I don't know. It's like all the weird shit that is, you would just, you're crazy. So it's just simpler. Yeah, I can let myself entertain that because I wish it was just that. That's all it was. And about how being her being stretched in the fourth dimension, and this is far out flaky stuff. And, okay, so movie, I guess it's just nothing that makes sense or matters too much. So, Trey made recently. My neighbors have been interfering with the job hop, but that seems to be winding down. It seems to be beginning to wind down. Is the accurate way to phrase it, I think. Um, doesn't mean I don't have to keep pushing forward with what I said I was going to do, which is basically the two of them are the Navy, so pursuing that route. These cops, A, don't like offering me equal protection under the law, they just don't. And B, they want to solve the problem for the night. And there's got to be a bullshit screener I didn't say I asked because I get a lot of crap, right? And so I'd wait just like 3, 4 days and send letters to my senators, my representative in the House and the state legislature. Because these folks, of course, they're never going to read it right, but they'll be read by their aides, who very likely are hyper motivated college students who want a career in politics. You know, people who would be more sensitive to, well, this is a tragedy. This has been ongoing for, and he's just hasn't done anything to provoke it. And schizophrenia is a horrible disease. I recognize my problems with this is the world's worst, which is something that these pieces of shit, cops included, can't grasp. Um, you just think of it that bad. Honestly, that's a take on it. Well, 'cause I'm not fucking worthless and whining drunk like you. Yeah, because I try to get it right. Like, give me a fucking break. We all think we try to get it right, son. It's just some of us do it watching television. This, the city I live in, it used to be yeah, kind of a resort city, but we didn't make a thing of it. We're the beach. Yeah, you can come and spend your money at the shops, buy some t-shirts, and you don't feel like you gotta stay too long. Go out the door, hit your ass on the way out. Um, but you also like three colleges in the area and a Navy base or two, and so all people from all over. And then the mayor, Myra Oberdorf, and I can find out where I live, who just has his thumb so perfectly on the pulse of what the people here wanted the city to be. She lost an election because of one of the Navy bases. Congress wanted to move the base, and the local paper ran an editorial that she was incapable of negotiating with Congress, and she lost the mayoral election. And she was dead 4 years later. She'd been there forever. This new guy's a real piece of shit. He has destroyed the city for one red house seat. We are in a sea of blue, but we are red. He brings in filth. He distributes literature to the scum. They'll vote Republican. It's unreal. He buys the liberals off with skyrocketing property values that the Republicans will never be able to afford. And you call it paranoid, but I swear to God, that's what's going on. This city, in a structural and functional sense, is the excrement, the waste product of increasing property values. And my take on Republicans and Democrats has gotten more concise over the years. I think the principal difference between liberals and conservatives is a sentence that someone, when I was a college professor in the psychology department, and another psychology professor, he told me this because he was amused by it. He was so frustrated by his students one semester that he put it at the top of his final exam. Never try to teach a pig to sing, it won't work and you'll annoy the pig. That's how Republicans are. Well, we'll take care of you, of course, because this is America, but in a minimalistic sense, because you don't contribute too much to society. And these Republicans who are taking care of in this fashion, who want their $2,000 stimulus, not their $15,000 raise, um, they they think liberals are hypocrites. Well, liberals they say they want to give us a leg up. They want you to poll. I'm polling all I can. I gotta go home and drink at 2:30 in the afternoon on Tuesday. That's just the fucking truth. So the Republicans are right. It's disgusting enough. America was an experiment. There had never been a democracy. Europe had not gone democratic. We were the first. America was an experiment, and the American experiment is failing. It's faltering. It's going to be proven false. It is not possible to govern by anything except force, is the conclusion that we're going to come to if we don't get off the path we're on. We were wrong. You can't. Democracy doesn't work. For 10,000 years, that's the only way. Force. These fucking idiot ass Republicans who vote for Trump because they're afraid of him. They come out patriotic. It's disgusting. They're pieces of shit. Oh god. They're the ones that my mayor found, so now Frank can voice something similar. Much milder. One of his books he said that he was at a function and met a beautiful young Republican. And he said, I asked her to, when she got home to go read something that was only about 2 pages. And if she does, I hope that it makes it whatever impression on her. And if she doesn't, then she's just another Republican. And I view that as just a nicer way of saying what I'm saying. Anyway, oh, incidentally, if you are a Trump supporter and still watching and think the Insurrection Act, in fact, states that it can only be invoked if local authorities are unable to maintain order, meaning if the police department and the FBI are not enough, then the Insurrection Act can be invoked, if you're curious. though why anybody would be in favor of people who are killing folks who don't like brutal deportation tactics. Uh, their protests over their unlawful deaths that should be prosecuted in court. Protests over the unlawful murders that should be prosecuted for in court count as insurrection. Um, when the government is, in fact, as he did with that Saudi prince, giving people a hunting license. Nope, say it's wrong. He with the crime. He's got. Remember? And how local authorities haven't arrested them. They wear masks. It's just like the guy's there. Like that's a sign of the fucking apocalypse. Government enforcement of individuals wearing masks. They might as well be wearing Klan outfits. And Jesus fucking Christ. And they enforce, incidentally, racial centric integration, immigration, people with different colors of skin. Um, but this country has weathered worse at least once. We made it through a civil war, so who knows? And do you find yourself, if you keep up on current events, living your day in a dream where it's happening somewhere else on another planet, another whatever? It's not. You just gotta pretend that it's not really happening to get through the day. Because it's too fucking frightening. I don't know if you're aware of this, but Donald Trump has a 10,000 member strong, last I heard, extension of the Secret Service, a presidential security detail that wear all black and bear automatic weapons and have investigative authority over God knows what, because it's vague as hell. I don't remember the wording. But that means they might be kicking down your door with their standard issue fucking boots to find out if you're a real American. And the answer to Trump, because they're part of the Secret Service, the answer to Congress. No. Has anyone heard of the Night of the Knives? Yes, it can happen. Everybody thought, well, because we can say Donald Trump's a liar. No, it can still happen. He's just a buffoon. Have you seen Mussolini give a public speech? I understand it. He can roll miles. Yeah. He's wearing a bird hat in one of them, or like two ostrich feathers on his head or something. But the Republicans want that $2,000 for doing nothing. They're hanging there for that. They give a $15,000 raise for getting a job. Or after getting a job. But still with unequal distribution of wealth in this country, I don't fucking work, so I'll just take the 2,000. Jesus fucking Christ. The average salary, I used to think that the average salary had to be pretty high, right? Because nobody makes negative 20 million. You always hear the median. What's the average? What's the mean? And what I did is I took the GDP and I multiplied it by the average family size and divided by the population or something like that. I got about 250,000. And my brother's here. He whips out this website. Average salary 75,000. Independent source, right? Government statistics. Um, I say something, so it's labor force participation. Most people don't work. And yeah, it's a surprising number of people in this country just have no interest in getting jobs and don't have jobs and live on disability or welfare or child support or God fucking knows what. I mean, there should be child support, but I think there's room for improvement there too. The crux of the issue is that most mothers will do anything they need to do to make sure their child has what their child needs. They might not do it for themselves, what they need. They'll do it for their child. Most mothers, not all. Because what needs to happen is sole custody needs to be less attractive because it's not in the best interest of the child, and quite frankly, it's not in the best interest of the mother. So make it less attractive so that they get more money, but they have to get a part-time job if they really want to pull everything together. So more people go for joint custody, which is best for the child and best for both parents, in fact. If there's more of a headache. That's how life is sometimes, right? Try to be adults, you had a kid, right? Act like it. And the problem is the why it doesn't happen is the mothers that aren't like that, who would let their child go without things they truly needed. Poor mothers who are complete drunks and don't even have enough food to get through the month. And the last 2 days of the month, the children get fed in school. There's a pot of white rice at home, so she can keep drinking. And she's the reason that sole custody is attractive to this. At least that's what I thought. But like I said, the Republicans, they know you don't try to teach a pig to sing, it won't work. You'll just annoy the pig. You can't expect very much of these people. We'll take care of them because it's America. It's what we do here. So entitlement programs are more disparate than at first appearance. I knew a guy who got a disability for his lungs. He was a welder, and his lungs were going because he smoked crack. He got a disability. Uh, this is an entitlement program with it, right? It's just more disparate than you believe. It's not just welfare and social security. It's all sorts of stuff, and some of it is, of course, entitlements. It's sponsored by dad, frankly. Um, Emotionally blackmailed into a marriage if you want to be a part of your son's life. Um, and it's done for the child. Um, And it's probably in part, now that I think about it, done for the child because in those situations, perhaps joint custody is not a good thing because they hate each other that fucking much. Beyond just the betrayal and you destroy my illusions of what love was. I could have had somebody that truly loved it and had a happy life and that you hopefully grow out of over the coming 3 years. Um, but with these folks where John and I aren't dating anymore, but I don't like being a waitress and we make good friends and I'm ovulating and it's Friday. Uh, he likes to pull out, so I'll just say come at mommy because I know he's got mommy issues and that'll be that. These people perhaps should not have joint custody for a reason, but I don't know for sure. Hey, my brother a call. Yeah, that happened with him. She hit the jackpot. She was ovulating on New Year's Eve. Hadn't seen each other in a year and a half. He was so angry. I thought it was me. He was angry towards me, but I was just one more aggravation. Since they broke, finally, he's a good brother for the first time in his life. And it's something I don't know how to deal with because he was so hostile and such a bully when we were younger. It broke my arm, right? And so he was always kind of the enemy. And now he's a good brother. And I was like, and anyway, he's a good father too, frankly. Maybe I was wrong about his daughter because I thought he was screwing her, but then I apparently process. So I saw him with his son on the camera on their phone, right? I say hi to him, right? And he's got some weird fucked up haircut. He's got blonde hair, right? Because, you know, well, mine's shit brown and gray right now, but we both, my brother and I both have blonde hair when we were younger, and it stayed blonde. But he's got this weird curly mohawk. And nobody in my family has curly hair, and he didn't either. He's got this weird curly mohawk. It's like one color here, another color shaved on top. And they're talking, and my brother's palling around with him. He said, "That's great, buddy. Yeah, that sort of stuff, right?" I catch his eye, and he whispers, "Dad was so serious." And it's just good to see. Now, if he didn't, it wasn't such a conspiracy knot, that would, that's disturbing. Because he'll just go and go, and eventually you really literally feel physically sick. I guess you have to care about him. You literally feel physically sick listening to it. He believes in the dumbest one I've ever heard, which is late gender inversion. And he knows so much about the theories. He'll talk about body proportions, and it's just nuts. And he had, I've never heard of BAM. I don't fucking watch TV, right? But if you've heard of him, he said he knew some people who were drinking with BAM. And afterwards, the time afterwards they told him they're drinking with BAM, he said, "Are just dead serious? You should have gotten him wasted and pulled his pants down and got a picture of his vagina." He's not even fucking friends, right? No wonder. People don't take that in stride. I've known him his whole life. Um, So it's funny, but it's sad too. He's that maladaptive. He's a sociopath from hell. I mean that. I mean that. He is a sociopath from hell. If he didn't have so plainly his perspective, because I don't think he thinks I'm ever gonna get a job, nothing to gain from me ever, I would be suspicious a little bit, I think. But then there's the fact that he rode his bike all around the country from coast to coast, stopping at every relative that he could think of. Cousin Julie, my mother's cousin, everybody he could think of. And he was looking for connection. That's what he was looking for, and I knew that. And he couldn't find it with anyone because he's such a sociopath. There's a test, the Minnesota Multiphasic Personality Inventory, that sniffs out. I believe it's personality inventory. It's not personality. It's a CPS, whatever it is. It sniffs out mental illnesses. Not like super early, but yeah, you found the true false questions, and there are like 300 of them, and it will pop out people with mental illness, and they say they can detect people who are faking or lying, but who knows? But he took it because my dad scored these things for the nuclear power company that has since picked up and had a degree in pastures. You know, when you're building a nuclear power company, you want to cover your bases, right, in case there's a meltdown or something. You want to make sure, well, we screen these employees for mental health, and we had these tests graded by a guy with a PhD in psychology. You want to go all out on that one if you're a nuclear power company. And he got paid in like 1990 $14 a piece to look at these tests. They were pre-scored, and the scores were graphed between each disorder to like that. They draw lines, right? And he was bragging once that he was making $1 a second as he was rattling these things off, and uh, my brother took the test. And sociopath, the official name for sociopath, psychopath is psychopathic deviance, is what the experts call it. And like I said, they graph the scores, and his score on psychopathic deviance was so high it couldn't be graphed. And sociopaths oftentimes wind up in prison. They're good parents. He's done a couple stints for marijuana. That's it. Um, yeah, but they're well-functioning individuals, sociopaths, because they have trouble finding gratification in life outside of, I don't know exactly. But I think in high school they're sort of a Mr. Just Be Nice to Me Now kind of guy. I never actually ran into him, but I had any friends in high school. He's getting beat so bad by my brother at home that his self-esteem. It was just the truth. He went to juvie for stealing cars, and I started to talk to people. And but if you ever met him, Mr. Just Be Nice to Me Now, that's the sociopath. The guy that you give him shit one day, and the next day you're friendly with him, and he's friends with you like he always was. That's the sociopath, and he gets even with us later in life. Yeah. Sometimes by killing us, because they could be nasty people, but they just start toying with it, right? He's unattached, so they just toy with our attachment to them. Be a part of that. Wish I did it. I don't know exactly what. But, hmm. So he's probably worth over $1 million, which of course in 2026 is not saying an enormous amount. Um, but it's from an eclectic set of investments. He grows, I am not fucking with you, nuts and berries. He bought a small farm and he's gradually filling it in with blackberries, chestnuts, things like that. And he's got some rental property and he's got some money in gold and things like that. But he succeeds at it. It's just, mainstream, he could probably succeed better. He's a smart guy. But he succeeds at it. And he's got a point. A very good point when he said this. He said, I was at this auction, and there are all these dicks in suits. This is how both of us talk, right? All these dicks in suits scrambling around for their $5,000 commissions. I see some guy dressed like me, and he just wears jeans, right? At 50. And he says, a guy dressed like me. I go over and start talking to him. He says, I'm here so helping my wife. I was setting up. She's part of this. And so we started talking, and it comes out that he's just saying that. In fact, the reason he's there is to estimate how much money he could have made by buying the whole lot and auctioning it himself. He's worth, he's a very rich man. He said he kept in touch with 100% true. And that he would be more like my brother makes sense to me. He doesn't like what he refers to as the lower upper class. He's, okay, I do. Oh shit. Um, he has weird reasons for this stuff. And my mom once gave this long speech about how I want you to know I'm your mother, and you can tell me anything you need to tell me. And she just went on and on. At the end of it, he said, "You eat too much cheese." So he's talking about the upper middle, or the lower upper class. He said they will just run up the most obscene bar bills, like bottles of champagne with sparklers in them. Oh God. Anyway, that shit me out. Yeah, it really reminds me of all of a sudden, and it would have been more fitting 20 years ago if I had thought of it then. The Kid Rock lyric, yeah. Um, it was. And they keep on trucking up and down the coast, then flicking my bick until it falls into motion. That's him. I should tell him that. Make him smile. Mm. Let me do something else. I honestly see it. I got silver eyeliner, but I could. I did got two kinds, and neither is bold enough for the lipstick. So I gotta find a more muted lipstick. Uh, my makeup company doesn't sell silver lipstick. I just go to the drugstore and buy it too. Christ, of course it's worth a try. Actually, this is my new guy makeup look. That's what it's gonna be. The silver lipstick. It's a lot, but yeah, maybe the bronze lipstick and silver eyes instead, and just say the silver lipstick for special occasions. Not that I do makeup much anymore. I'm doing my hair more often. So I got bangs. Part of the reason is it pressures me to dress as well. Yeah. God, she's so good. Look at this. The colors here. Anyway, I want to see this real quick. You go if you want. Got 24 degrees out there. Doesn't get that cold here very often. The whole winter's go by without getting that cold. Oh my god. I don't understand the whole other economy enough to really weigh on this one too much, but I'm reading about the Hertz Wells Fargo thing. It seems that the Trump administration is pushing towards businesses that uh, possibly concealed assets when they declare bankruptcy to not have to uh, you have increased payback for coming out of bankruptcy wealthier than they should, um, which is deregulation on a massive scale and likely to, yeah, if what's the worst case scenario, we file for bankruptcy and squirrel away money. Uh, it, And they're corporations. They have money people in some sense, but we money each other. This is two corporations that money each other. Is trying to promise. In a healthy business environment, both parties benefit from every deal. This is exactly the opposite. And then the court won't take the case. The Supreme Court won't take the case. After being urged by the Congress not to. And it's an issue of whether the bankruptcy ruling, well, you're bankrupt, you have no more to pay than this, should be upheld, or if the pre-bankruptcy uh, ruling of you owe these people, you need to pay, should be in place, given that that money is present to pay. Seems to be the gist of it. Um, cost and stock will be worth less than it appears to be worth. Is what will happen. I'm certain of it. I don't know how. Mhm. This, I think, flashes of insight. But the end result will be that stock will be worth less than it appears to be worth. Most certainly. I'll figure out why after I sleep. Stock will be cheaper. So could it be that there'd be more shares? They'd split more. Well, the company decides when to split. Mm. Uh, of course. The company owes money to its shareholders after bankruptcy as well because of lost revenue. Is that so? The words in my head, which tend to be the important ones, are really true, are the cost of stock prices suffer. Uh, anyway.